And Moses joins us on a desk for sports, and after dropping games 1 and 3, it only seems fitting that the Pontiacs come out strong for game number 4.
That's definitely right. They were outplayed Monday night, and you know the Bonnyville Pontiacs were desperate heading into game number 4, hoping to avoid being down 3-1 in the series to Spruce Grove. And the Pontiacs, they came out like gangbusters in this one, already up 2-0 in the second. Bobby McMann through the neutral zone, great burst of speed and snipes one over the arm of Brett Zeroni, 3-0 Pontiacs. Now Zeroni would get the yank, Matthew Murray would come in. Now later in the period, Saints would get on the board, off a turnover, Austin Hunter right to Tyler Bush. It's now 3-1. Then with just under 3 minutes to go, Carson Samaridny in the slot will cash in the one-timer. 3-2 after 40 minutes. The Pontiacs would respond early in the third. Off the face-off, Eric Donald walks in and outweights Murray. 4-2 Pontiacs. The Saints would keep this one close. Parker McKay will set up Samaridny, and he puts away his second of the game. The Yaks lead is trimmed down to 1. Dying seconds of this contest, Bonnyville would weather the storm, and Dylan McCombie would add the empty netter as the Yaks go on to the 5-3 victory, tying this series up at 2 apiece. And what a game it was for the Pontiacs as well, who looked like they were outmatched in Game 3, playing the sort of hockey they're used to. And like their head coach, Coach Rick Swan would say, the theme is, why not the Bonnyville Pontiacs? Well, we head back to the RJ for post-game reaction.
The message going into Game 4 for the Bonnyville Pontiacs was simple. Come out with the right mindset. And they did just that, responding to every chance the Spruce Grove Saints threw at them. That resulted in a 5-3 victory, tying the series up and making it a best of 3.
We wanted to make a statement today. Getting down 3-1 is pretty hard to come back from, especially against a team such a high caliber as them. So we just took it to them for 60 minutes today, and our effort paid off.
Felt like we came out with a little bit of desperation. We didn't want to go down 3-1. So we just came out flying and got on them quick, and they couldn't push back.
A much better story for a team that succeeded by winning the little battles, limiting the damage by the high-flying Saints.
They're a good team when they're not getting hit, but when they get hit, they get frustrated, and we're just trying to get them off their game. So anytime we can do a little thing to get the edge on them, we'll do it.
We know the most dangerous shift in hockey is after you score a goal. And today we wanted to make sure that when we got momentum, we wanted to hang on to it tight. And we talked about that today before the game, that if we get an opportunity, that's the most important shift of the game.
It's definitely something we focused on, was responding after we scored. Those are all big shifts, one after the other. We're just piling on, keep on the pressure, and don't give them anything.
And that strategy all starts on face-offs, something Coach Rick Swan put an emphasis on for Game 4.
We needed to have a challenge with our centermen to make sure that we've got possession. And the first and third period, we're better than they were, knowing that face-offs are going to be the key in these next 3 games, and we have to make sure our guys are up to the task.
The Pontiacs go into Game 5 trying to do what no team has done in this series, win back-to-back games. And that will be tough as they head to a hostile Spruce Grove Friday night.
And why not Gerard Lampow? The weather has been bad, but maybe he'll bring us some good news in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone. The 16th annual Tarp Auction was held last night in preparation for this year's Canadian Professional Chuck Wagon Association season.
Coming around that first barrel. Out on the track he goes. Name in light. Out at 15, 5, 16.
No surprise here, Vern Nolan took the top bid, but Todd Baptiste also matched it. Both tarps went for $16,000. The average bid was $6,300, a definite impact from the economy.
We expected some things to be down, overall about just over $195,000. Still pretty good. A lot of companies came out and supported Chuck Wagon Racing. We saw some new companies and some companies that have been around for a long time. And it's evident that even though maybe oil and gas isn't what we're hoping right now, that there's still a lot of loyalty in this community.
The community's strong, and there's some old companies here, older companies that's been in the game for a long time, and they come through tonight, and that's the ones that showed the bigger dollars. But we'll get through it.
14 of the 31 tarps went for under $3,000, which is a tough pill to swallow for some drivers.
There's prize money involved in this sport, and but at the end of the day, the expenses of this sport is so great that the sponsors is what gets us through and carries us through. That money, it keeps you afloat, and you see tonight some of these guys sell them for $2,500, and it's a little bit sad because these guys they're not breaking even, and so hopefully you wish the best for them for next year.
Now, as we first mentioned to you last night, rugby is back in the border city as the Lloydminster Reapers men's and women's teams are back from a year hiatus. Now, for the women's team, their numbers are generally smaller than the men's, but that shouldn't be the case this year. Nermanisa explains.
This is my first season, third practice, so still learning the game, and hopefully it'll be good, something new.
It's a whole new element for Kaitlyn Chapman, trading in a hockey puck for a rugby ball. The former goaltender for the University of Alberta's women's team is trying her hand at a new sport.
For me, hockey's kind of a winter thing, so I needed, more of a summer thing to look at, and, a sport I've never played before. It's just kind of, I looked at it as an opportunity versus a barrier, and, I'm just going to go out and do my best and learn. And
there may not be a lot of ladies at practice, but the coach says they are still in a good position.
Our numbers are looking pretty good, pretty strong. We're combining with Cold Lake women, so that's going to help for numbers. And just getting some of the old dogs back on the pitch. Everyone's excited to just have a fresh new start this season.
Dwindling roster numbers has been an issue with the team. Last year, they took the season off.
Commitment was fading because of lack of commitment from other teams and just not getting any games. So now I think just having that year off and just kind of a refresher, coming back, getting back into things, I think everyone's excited.
Definitely just trying to, get people out and everyone staying and kind of coming and going. We always have new faces and new people coming, but then it's hard to try to get that kind of connection with the team and get that kind of chemistry that you need to play. So that's probably been the hardest part.
For players like Chapman, being around those who've played the game before is a big plus.
I think I'm going to enjoy it, especially when we get out to the open field and kind of get the real feel of the game itself. Obviously, this is indoor. You don't get as much out of it, but, it's a good start and good place to learn some of the kind of beginner rules and then kind of go from there. So
it can seem intimidating. I mean, there's a lot to the game, and for me, I know it took myself my first couple of seasons before I could really get the hang of it, but you stick with it. It's a good team sport.
Nermanisa, Newcap Sports.
Thank you for that, Nariman. Also, a quick side note, the women's teams are always looking for players, so if you wanted to join, you're more than welcome to check out reapersrugby.com for more information. And that is all the time we have in sports. We'll have more Newcap news and weather for you coming up right after the break.